Good morning, everyone. I'm General Schneiderman, the New York State Attorney General, and I'm pleased to be joined today by the founder and CEO of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans Association, Paul Rieckhoff, State Senator Lee Zeldin, State Senator Danylo Squadron, Assemblyman Michael Cusick, and in particular by Specialist Danylo Rakowsky, who retired after serving time in Iraq with the National Guard and is going to speak about his personal experience. As Veterans Day approaches, I'm very mindful of the fact that at all levels of government, federal, state, and local, we talk a big game about our gratitude to people in active military service and to veterans, but sometimes we don't deliver on those promises. In my office, we're renewing our effort to ensure that, at least in the state of New York, we deliver for those who protect us. While they're overseas fighting to protect our rights, we have to protect their rights at home. We know their military service places an enormous burden on their families, and we owe all of them our support and our gratitude. And it's a measure of the gratitude that I know all New Yorkers feel towards our servicemen and women that I'm pleased to announce new legislation that is going to ease the burden of home ownership for active duty service members and their families at home in New York while they are fighting abroad. New York State offers a tax break already to reduce the property taxes for veterans who served during wartime. They get 15% of the assessed value of the home exempt from property tax, and if they're in an area of a combat zone during that period, an additional 10%. And when I was in the state Senate, I fought to extend those benefits to more veterans. It's a fight we are continuing, and as Attorney General, last month we determined that all across the state there were veterans being denied these exemptions that they were eligible for because county tax officials were not interpreting the law correctly. And I wrote to every county tax assessor or whoever supervises the tax assessment process in every county. In New York City, it's the Department of Finance, to make sure that every veteran is getting that tax benefit, and we're continuing to monitor that process. Today, we are expanding the program because while it is tremendously important to take care of our veterans and to show our appreciation, it is also important to take care of those who are fighting for us right now. The people who are fighting to protect our rights, our freedom, our way of life should not have to wait for the benefits of home ownership till they end their service. We want more service members to be able to own homes in New York, and we want them and their families to be at least relieved of the stress of maintaining their homes while they're on active duty. So we're announcing today, my colleagues from the legislature and I, that we are introducing and sponsoring the Tax Relief for Active Military Service Act, the TRAMS Act. This will allow New Yorkers who serve on active duty in the military or their spouses, if they're overseas, to get a tax exemption of 10% of the assessed value of their homes if they're service members who are serving, and if they're serving in a combat zone in Iraq, Afghanistan, or some other combat zone, and as defined by the federal government through a presidential executive order, they will receive an additional 10% exemption. A 20% exemption from property taxes is a big deal to the families of our active duty service members. It will save people thousands of dollars, and it's not really a big burden for the state of New York. Actually, our legislation is going to provide that the state will make up the loss of revenue to local governments. The estimate is only about $2 million. This is a very small thing that we can do, but it makes a big difference in the lives of the thousands of active duty service members and their families in the state of New York. Given all of the sacrifices they make for us, this is the least we can do for them. So I'm now honored to introduce Paul Rieckhoff, a veteran and founder and CEO of the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans Association.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And thank you all for being here today. I'm an Army guy, so I'd much rather be here than at the Intrepid. So thank you for coming down in the rain. I appreciate that. But the Attorney General has been a strong leader for veterans across the state from the outset. We appreciate that, sir, especially your leadership on defending young veterans from predatory for-profit schools and other issues that are dear to us. I served in the Army. I served in the New York National Guard. I served at Ground Zero, and I know how important New York can be for this next generation of veterans. New York can be a place where veterans come to, where veterans know that the state has their back. Home ownership is an absolutely essential part of a successful transition home. So we applaud this effort. TRAMS will make a difference. And it's happening just a week before Veterans Day. Veterans Day is on Monday. We will have over 1,000 IAVA members from across New York State starting at the Flatiron and marching through the city to show that we're not a charity, we're an investment, and we're a new generation of leaders. And the TRAMS Act here will help inspire and support that new generation of leaders. I just want to note, coming up on Veterans Day, it's a time when some folks just see it as a day off. I was leaving my house this morning and I saw an ad for a furniture store having a Veterans Day sale on couches. Veterans Day is not about selling couches. It's about honoring all the generations of veterans, not just the ones that are serving overseas, but every generation of American veterans who served. And our goal at IAVA, as a national organization headquartered in New York, is to make every day Veterans Day. So we really appreciate you being here today, and also help us spread the word about the resources that are available to veterans, not just at Veterans Day, but throughout the year, and to the Attorney General especially for your leadership, and also to Danylo. Danylo is an inspiring Iraq vet who's been a part of IAVA and also represents what we call the next great generation. He came home, he went to school, he's now working and building a family in Brooklyn, and he represents the potential of this new generation of leaders. So thank you for being here today, and sir, thank you again for your leadership.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Everything's about Brooklyn these days, you know. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce State Senator Lee Zeldin.
Mr. Attorney General, I really appreciate you taking this initiative on behalf of our state's veterans. I represent the 3rd Senate District, which is in Suffolk County. We have the highest veterans population out there in the entire state of New York. We're very proud of our veterans. I'm honored to have served and continue to serve in the Army Reserves now. It is, you know, we have men, women who are returning home from their 5th, their 6th, their 7th deployment. They're coming back to Long Island, and they're having trouble affording their first home, the cost of living. They have spouses really shouldering even more of a burden than a husband or wife who deploys overseas. And one way that we can say thank you as a state to them is through the Attorney General's initiative. I'm just very proud to be here today in support of him and his effort, and I look forward to working with him over the course of this next legislative session to make this a reality. Our veterans need and deserve this. They were willing to sacrifice everything for us, their family and friends, but for strangers back home. This is the least that we can do, is to make it a little bit easier for them to survive here in New York State. So thank you again, Mr. Attorney General.
Thank you. Thank you. And the Senator makes a very important point. We have a lot of folks in New York who serve multiple tours of duty, who re-up, and folks who've been in service longer are more likely to be the homeowners affected by this. So it is especially appropriate for us to provide those families with some tax relief. Again, it doesn't cost the state much, but it makes a big difference to them. And this is an investment, as Paul says. We want veterans in New York. We want them to be a part of the growth of our state. And someone who's been a great spokesperson on this issue and continues to be in the state Senate, Daniel Squadron.
Thank you very much. And I want to really thank the Attorney General, who, it really has to be noted, has been fighting for this issue since before he was the Attorney General. And it's a critically important one. I'm very proud to carry the bill that was originally introduced by Senator Schneiderman to help deal with some of these issues, and very proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of these legislators and the Attorney General today. The first point here that is really critical, and it's critical around Veterans Day when folks are hopefully taking a moment to recognize the sacrifice and the service that so many have given, is there are a huge number of eligible veterans today in the 5 boroughs and across the state who have either been denied property tax exemptions or abatements that they are due, or have had forms presented to them that don't allow them to know that they are eligible for these property tax savings already today. And thanks to the Attorney General and his staff, and to Danylo and his work, who I would like to say is not just a great New Yorker and a great American, but also a constituent of mine in Brooklyn, in ascending order of importance. It is critical to know that if you're a veteran or you have a family member who's served since 1990 in any of the conflicts abroad, you may be eligible for these property tax exemptions and not yet getting them. And the Attorney General has made that so clear, and it's so important. It's not enough. It's really never enough. And so the next step, this bill that's being proposed today, is a really important one. And I think that the most important point is the one that you made. Let's talk about this today and this week around Veterans Day and then let's stay focused on it and get it done in the next legislative session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Senator Squadron. And now someone who I've worked with closely on a variety of critical issues, a creative leader in the State Assembly, Assemblyman Michael Cusick.
Thank you, Attorney General. I want to thank you. First of all, I want to apologize for breaking up the Brooklyn Love Fest here. I'm a kid from Staten Island, so I'm just happy to be here. Yeah, I want to thank the Attorney General for initiating this important piece of legislation. You know, I have served in the State Assembly now going on 12 years, and in all those years, I've been on the Veterans Affairs Committee in the Assembly because I, too, come from a community that has a large number of veterans and young soldiers who serve in our current wars. And I have always thought that it was our duty, as they have the duty serving overseas, it's our duty as legislators and elected officials to always have their back and to always make sure that they're taken care of. And I want to commend my colleagues and I want to commend the Attorney General because the American dream is to own a home in the state of New York, in this country. That's the American dream, is home ownership. And these men and women are brave enough to protect and to provide that American dream for all of us. So it only seems to be common sense for us to make it easier for them to attain that goal. So I am proud to stand up here with all my colleagues and the brave men and women who have served us and continue protecting our rights. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Assemblyman. And now, finally, I'm honored to introduce Danylo Rakowsky, who has been mentioned before, a veteran who was deployed to Iraq 2004-2005, and then was wrongfully denied the property tax exemption that he was entitled to. He's gotten it, but he had to jump through far too many hoops. This is what our office is ensuring does not happen to veterans, and with the help of my colleagues in government here, we're looking to expand the program. So, Danylo, thank you for your service, and we welcome you now to speak.
Good morning. My name is Danylo Rakowsky, and I'm a proud Iraq War veteran and a proud New Yorker. I'm here as a guest of the Attorney General, who, by the way, is the nicest general I've met in my life. I served in the Army National Guard from 2000 to 2006, being deployed with some of the world's best soldiers to Iraq for 13 months. The AG asked me here today to speak about my experience as a veteran and as a homeowner. In 2010, I was fortunate enough to purchase 600 square feet of paradise in Brooklyn. This is where me and my wife started our lives together. Though times were tight, we made it work. Later on, I became aware that through my service, our burden could be lightened by way of a tax exemption. And I started looking over the forms, and this is where it got a little tricky for me. The forms specify that the tax exemption is applicable only to veterans who honorably served in certain conflicts, and they list from the Mexican War to the Persian Gulf War. I took this to mean that I was not eligible. I called my city council member, I called 311, I called veterans groups, I called anybody that listened, my co-op manager, and they all actually interpreted the form the same way, that I was not eligible and that veterans of my generation were not eligible. Through no fault of our own, we did discover that that was incorrect, and there's a special kind of frustration of having a tool but not knowing how to use it. What the Attorney General proposed today seeks to clarify this form and help cut through the red tape, but I really do commend him on taking a step further and extending these benefits to the members of our military who are currently serving on active duty. Earlier, I passed along a challenge coin that I received many years back to Mr. Schneiderman. On its face, it says facta non verba, Latin for deeds, not words. Deeds, not words. I sincerely thank the Attorney General and all those who are present here today so that veterans of my generation and those currently serving active duty may breathe a little easier. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And now someone who fought through rain and traffic to get here, a good friend, Assemblyman Gary Pretlow.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, and Paul. I'm a Westchester guy, and I had to drive right past the Intrepid to get here. to fight through this traffic, and it's really wasn't fun. But anyway, and you know, and the veterans, they didn't pick where the battlefields were. It was raining. It still happened, you know. So we should really be at the Intrepid. But that's not, I'm not blaming anybody for that. You know, it's oft said that freedom is not free, and it's not free. The freedoms that we enjoy are paid for through the blood and sweat of many young men and women, of America, and we owe them every type of benefit that we can give them. And this is something, this is small. $2 million to the state of New York, we'll make that up like in 12 minutes at one of the new casinos. We should make it a little higher. Our veterans deserve everything that we can give them. And I'm glad that in this particular piece of legislation, the state is offering to reimburse the counties and the school districts that aren't going to get the money, because many times we get blamed for unfunded mandates because we'll give an exemption to someone and they don't pay taxes to the county or the school district or the city. We're going to reimburse the counties and the cities for that, and that's a good thing. So there should be really no one opposed to this. This should fly through in the next session. We're going back in a month and 3 quarters. I look forward to voting for this on the floor and having it signed into law before the middle of the year. So, Mr. Attorney General, I want to thank you for pushing this. Since the time you were a senator and now you're a general, I should salute you, but you know, we appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, and now I guess we will take some questions. Damien? Okay. Right now, any veteran, not active duty service member, but veteran who served during a period of war is eligible for an exemption on part of the value of their home. A veteran who served in a combat zone, which is defined by presidential order and updated periodically, is entitled to an additional assessment exemption. This act, the TRAMS Act, will add a program that also extends this benefit in a slightly different formula to active duty service members who are serving right now. So they shouldn't have to wait till the end of their service to get this help, and that's the point that my colleagues and I are trying to make. So this is an effort to expand a program, and what Danylo was referring to is the fact that the current program was not being properly interpreted by tax assessors all over the state because the language of the regulations was very confusing. And when we discovered this, I wrote letters to, and we've contacted by phone, every county official who is in charge of supervising property tax assessment. And in New York City, it's the Department of Finance. They have already getting the word out to veterans, and veterans organizations, like the one that Paul represents, are a very big part of it. Right now, New York has a program, and we want to make sure every veteran out there takes advantage of it, to get up to 25% of the assessed value of your home exempt from property taxes. We now are introducing legislation so that people in active service today who are overseas, who are homeowners in New York, will get up to 20% of the assessed value of their homes exempt from property taxes. We don't have to wait until they finish their service to show them how much we appreciate what they've done for our country.
So veterans right now can get up to 25%?
Correct. The regulations were drafted very, very poorly. And our office is working now and has been working in contact with lots of county officials all around the state and calling attention to this issue. And I would urge anyone who is a veteran who is concerned they might be eligible for this and wants to understand it to go to our website, ag.ny.gov, and we can refer you to the right place.
Mitch Levy, WOR Radio 24/7 News. Sir, what might this mean in terms of dollars for the average service member?
Well, this could mean thousands of dollars a year for some families, and there is a cap, and it varies from. Property taxes vary around the state, but it definitely is something that, for really cumulatively a very small amount of money for the state, can make a big difference in the lives of thousands of New York veterans and their families. They can save thousands of dollars. 20% exemption going forward, and then when they leave service, they're eligible for the veterans exemption, which goes on indefinitely, as long as they own that home. So this is a big program. It is an important program. And again, as has been said here, we want veterans to stay in New York. We want the people who serve our country with that community spirit and that level of heart and the skills that they bring out of the military. We want them here. We want New York to be a place that veterans want to move to. And we want this to be a place where our active service members, and we have about 25,000 families who have an active duty service member in New York State, we want them to be taken care of while they're out defending our country and serving overseas.
Sure. Danylo, Danylo. Last name Rakowsky, Rakowsky.
If you could, first of all, when did you buy your home, and what is this exemption going to be give?
I haven't done the math, but I bought my home in 2010.
And just the fact that you don't know exactly what it's going to save you, but the fact that you get it, you save it 20%.
25.
Yeah.
What does this mean for you?
I'm ecstatic. As I said, I was saddened to know that this was out there since 2010. I was eligible for it since 2010, and I just didn't understand it. Some people don't know, but when you get into a co-op, they give you all these forms, star abatement, star tax exemptions, and the veterans was on there, and it didn't look like it applied to me. So them's the breaks, but we made it work. Me and my wife made it work, and this would give us some breathing room, to be honest.
Are you active duty?
I'm not. No, I left the Army in 2006.
Anything else?
Yes, Mayor Police Can you just talk about the forms and why you're going to make them more, this law is also going to make the forms more easy to understand?
No, this law is a new program for active duty service members. Our effort that we've been making over the last number of months to clarify the set of, the problem starts with these regulations. Every military conflict, every period of war, and because this is a benefit that applies to people who serve during a period of war, is defined with a starting and ending date in the regulations. So World War I started on August whatever, and ended. World War II started in December 1941 and ended here, except the current conflict, which simply says the Persian Gulf conflict beginning in 1990. And the intent is to cover, and this is very clear, anyone who is serving in any of the extended conflicts that arose out of that conflict. So if you look at it, and you're a vet who came from Afghanistan, that's nowhere near the Persian Gulf, you would interpret it incorrectly. And we are clarifying that, and we have had great success with counties around the state. Some of them are doing outreach to veterans on their own. We're working with veterans groups to make sure everyone knows about this. We're cleaning this up right now. And again, as I say, in New York City, the Department of Finance is doing the right thing. They're doing outreach. They're interpreting it correctly now. And we're, again, as I said at the outset, everyone talks a lot about loving veterans. Action speaks louder than words, and we're looking to get the action to protect both veterans and active duty service members in New York State.
If I could ask Paul one question, please.
Sure.
Just thinking how big a deal is this going to open the door for homeownership?
This is a game changer for veterans and active duty across New York, without a doubt. I bought my home in 2006 in the East Village. I had no idea about this exemption. I run a veterans group. So I can guarantee you we've got about 10,000 IAVA members across the state of New York. We're going to let them know about this immediately. And it's coming at a critical time. We are very concerned that as Afghanistan widens down, the attention paid to veterans will decrease dramatically. This is the last Veterans Day we will have, likely, while we've got troops in Afghanistan. And for the folks in Afghanistan, sometimes folks in our office say it's Forgotistan because it's not on the front pages anymore. People forget that we actually have troops right now in Afghanistan fighting and dying. So for them and their families, especially coming out of the shutdown, which had a devastating effect on active duty and the veterans community, I think this is a total game changer for the veterans community across the state and sets an example for the rest of the states across the country.
Game changer, how so?
Money in their pocket. I mean, these are not folks who make a lot of money. And when you're trying to transition home, a couple $100 can go a long way. If you think about a young enlisted soldier who's overseas right now and maybe has a wife or husband back home and a few kids, this is a game changer, absolutely.
Hi, Stephanie Colombides, WFTV Radio. Are any other states doing anything like this?
There are some other states that have, it's really a broad range of programs for veterans. No, I don't think any other state has precisely this program as we've introduced it. But, you know, having a program on the books, if you're not, it's done so confusingly that people don't know they're eligible, doesn't do anyone any good. So we're glad to be clearing this up, and we're glad to be passing this additional relief to now include active duty service members in the program. Thank you very much.